Okay, it's a couple of minutes after 3 o'clock, so we're going to get started with the webinar now. So just like to say welcome to everybody for joining us on our first webinar of this free series. And there are lots more, just 30 minutes in length. Hope you can join us on a few more. This one will focus on the Wheel of Wellbeing energies, which is a subject that's really close to my heart. I'm a mental health first aider and an instructor now as well, and I'm really passionate about the impact of employee wellbeing on organisational productivity and performance. So we'll just kick off. First of all, just a few ground rules. It is a really short, snappy session, this one, 30 minutes long. So the content will be led by us. I do want to try and give you as much opportunity to interact with things like polls and a whiteboard and the chat facility. If you don't get an opportunity to have your questions answered during this webinar, we will definitely be contacting you to answer any questions you've got. So use the live chat facility throughout the session. Your microphone should be on mute during the session. I hope it is for everybody, just to restrict the noise. Don't fall into the same trap as I did a week ago, and my power cable wasn't connected and my battery went. So just don't fall into that. Make sure your power cable is connected, and you might want to have a pen and paper to make some notes, but you will definitely receive a link to some of the key slides following the session, and hopefully a recording of the webinar as well. Some of you will be used to using Zoom right now, but for those of you that have not, there'll be a ribbon so you can sort of move your cursor. You won't be using an awful lot of stuff where, like I say, you'll be on mute. You don't need to be on video. You can turn your video off if you want to. What you might want to use is the chat functionality, which should be on the ribbon. And you can send the chat to me as the AMP Partnership Facilitator, or to everybody. And I will be asking you to answer a couple of polls actually throughout the session, just to get you involved as well. So about me, as you can probably see from my video, I'm minus the goatee now, but I'm Lee Morris, Associate Director at AMP Partnership. Been working at AMP Partnership a couple of years now, and some of you will know us really well, and some of you might not. But we're passionate about leadership and organisational development, coaching, and well-being. Just a little bit about me. Born and bred in Mansfield in Nottinghamshire, so you might be able to tell from my accent, the little twang there, that I'm from Mansfield. Married with 2 daughters, and I'm hoping they don't Zoom bomb me during this session. Like Greg Rutherford, some people might have done. I've also got a cockapoo called Mabel as well. I have tried every precaution to get my daughters out of the room, so you'll see there from the photo I've got them nicely tied up there. Actually, it's not. So that is an image from LinkedIn, I think. But they are going to be quiet, I'm sure. Okay, so why focus on well-being, and why am I so interested in well-being? There's so much research that's been done, but I want to zoom in and focus on some research that's been done by Deloitte. Some of you might have seen this, and some of you might not, but it's really worth getting. It's available on the internet. It's a PDF document. And I just wanted to share a snapshot of some of the findings, because it actually came out in January this year, so it's very current. So 1 in 6 workers are experiencing a mental health problem at any one time. 27 days of productive time per employee are lost each year due to presenteeism, so people turning up for work when really they're not fit to do that. So a staggering number of days that are lost there. Stress is thought to be responsible for almost half of the working days lost in Britain due to health issues, and that came out of the report as well. This is an interesting one as well, from an employer perspective. 56% of employees would not feel comfortable talking to a line manager about their mental health. employees in good health are 3 times more productive than employees in poor health? Question mark. It's an interesting one, that. But certainly, if it's true, then there's got to be that focus in the sort of holistic approach to health and well-being. And I think a really interesting one out of this Deloitte findings, and they used Mind as well, the mental health charity, with this as well, is that employers investing in mental health gained an average return of £5 for every £1 they spent, and that average return was due to things like decreased absenteeism, presenteeism. Just one thought on that, and some of you will know what this is, but a new term for me, actually, as a result of this report, was that there was a rise in leavism. I've heard of absenteeism and presenteeism. I've not heard of leavism. So I'm sure some of you certainly will have, and you can certainly find out more. But it's there's 3 things really that leavism is associated with. So working when you're on your holidays, or you're ill, or you're on rest days, taking work home that you just simply couldn't work on during the working day. And working when you've not been able to complete everything during that time, are all traits of leavism. So it's a growing phenomenon, not just presenteeism and absenteeism, and something to watch in the future. So just a little bit of a poll. One of the surveys that was done as part of the report was from a source called Business in the Community. And they asked several people to identify the issues that cause mental health symptoms at work. What were the top ones? I put 10 in a poll. It'd be fantastic if everybody could complete the poll and pick which one they think is the highest. The one that causes the most mental health, most symptoms in the workplace. So I'm just going to give you some answers there. Launch the poll for people. So hopefully people can see the poll come up. Just select one answer. So we're getting a few answers in. Thanks, everyone. I'll give everybody a few more seconds. Okay, fantastic. Well, I'll end polling and just show you just share some of the results that we got there. So the highest response we got was workload is too much, 38%. And then you're looking at not supported in the role, negative work relationships in there as well. So let's have a look at what the actual answers were and the top 6. So I've just done the top 6 in this instance. So organisational change was handled poorly. I didn't feel I could trust my manager. Negative work relationships. I was not supported in my role. Due to workload, I had to take work home. So that's where the sort of leavism comes in, and really being able to take annual leave. And pressure, too many priorities or targets. So the sort of stress and the pressure being paramount there. So we want to try and help people improve and increase their mental health at work, and not just mental health, but their overall well-being. I'm going to just show you the slides. I won't expect you to read the writing. It's just there as a holding slide, because I'll zoom into each of the 4 energies. Some of you might have seen the energies before. Anybody that's been through our leadership programs, we sometimes use these 4 energies for different things: leadership, communication, relationship building, etc. But I want to focus on them for well-being. We've produced this Wheel of Wellbeing. Some of you will have seen different wheels used for life coaching, etc. But for us, this is this real holistic approach. Programs can focus on things like physical well-being. They can focus on how productive you are as a manager. They can focus on your emotional well-being. But for us, this is a real holistic approach to it. So I'll just show you sort of each one. So there's the physical side of it. There's the intellectual, and when we talk about intellectual, it's not about being clever. It's more about the work side of things. So things like time management, etc. Emotional and spirit. So I'm going to zoom in. I'm just going to show you some of them in a little bit more detail. So the physical activity, we've got three influences. We call them influencers on somebody's physical well-being. So that could be physical activity, it could be their nutrition and drink, or their rest and their sleep, all contributing factors to physical well-being. And what we've produced on the report, on the form, is some questions, some bulleted questions to really help people score themselves out of 10 on each particular subject. What I'd like to do as well, at the end of this, I'm going to ask people to contribute to a poll on which one of their energies they feel, from a well-being perspective, they really need to focus on, and which one they don't. So just to give people a few seconds at the end of each one of these, just to have a look. So physical activity, nutrition, drink, and rest and sleep. What's quite interesting about this, just to pull one or two things out, is things like drinking enough water. Do we do that enough? Do we actually, if we're in a job where we sat down a lot, do we get up? Do we take regular light physical activity? Do we use the stairs? Do we get out for lunch, etc.? So the second one is the intellectual one, the work one, in blue. So again, the three influences here are time and diary management. So things like, you just feel so busy, you're firefighting an awful lot, just spending too much time in meetings, not feeling empowered. The second one is the stress and the pressure of the job, and I think we saw from that report, that survey, that this can be a huge factor, probably especially at the moment as well, with what's going on. Do you sometimes feel de-energized? And then the work mindset, which we feel is a really huge part of well-being. So, you know, we've all seen the sort of glass half full, glass half empty. Sometimes, you know, considering yourselves a mood hoover, or do your colleagues consider you a mood hoover? Do you actually generally feel happy at work? Do you tend to overthink issues? Are you a perfectionist? All these things could contribute towards your work mindset as part of the Wheel of Wellbeing energies. So the third part is the emotional side of things. So I did say earlier, I'm a mental health first aid instructor, really passionate about this, and couple of things, and especially the first one really will resonate, I'm sure, with everybody at the moment, is personal resilience, especially during change. So how adaptable are you to change? Do you bounce back? Do you worry about what other people think about you? How well do you cope to constructive feedback? Does perfectionism impact? It certainly does for me, and that's something that I'm trying to work on. Do you tend to dwell on the past and worry about the future? I think really importantly on the emotional well-being is relationships as well. So that might be relationships at work, or it might be relationships at home as well. So starting with a good relationship with your line manager, great support networks. Have you got a great circle of friends outside of work that you can trust as well? And then a really important influence being is the personal challenges. So things like financial challenges, challenges around family, relationships, health or illness issues, maybe even past events directly or indirectly impacting you, can have a huge impact on your own health and well-being. And the final one, which I think gets missed quite a bit when we think of an holistic approach to well-being, is what we call a spirit energy. And there's again, there's three influences there. So one of them's around personal development, hobbies and interests. Do you actually feel fulfilled? Are you sometimes bored or apathetic? Do you need a new challenge? What are you doing about that? And then we go into the sort of ambitions and goals, and you've got two distinct ones there, but they may well correlate together. align. Personal life ambitions and goals. Do you feel stuck in a rut? Are you doing what you really want to do? Is it making you happy? Are you motivated by it? And then there's the career ambitions and goals as well. So, you know, do your personal values align to your employer's values? Do you feel engaged and motivated in your current role? What could you do about that? Is there things you could do to influence that? So they're the four energies of our Wheel of Wellbeing, and there are 12 enablers there as well. So I'll just bring it back sort of in there, and ask you now, out of that, just a very quick snapshot on poll of which energy you feel that you could really do with increasing or improving. So I'm going to show the poll. So which do you need to work on the most? Some great answers coming, quite mixed actually at the moment, and I will reveal the answers to everybody. Give people a few more seconds now. Easy for me to say. Okay, I'm going to end the polling, and I'll show you the results. So they're the results. So physical energy has come out with emotional and spirit. Very, very close actually. The intellect being the fourth one, but all four of them. And I'm sure you'll agree that it is about that sort of holistic approach to it that's really, really key. So what about the energy that you really don't need to work on? That'd be really useful as well. So again, just a very quick poll. Which one do you think you need to work on the least? Really good. 70% of people have polled so far. Time for a few more. Fantastic. Okay, I'll end the polling now, and I'll just share the results with you. You've got physical being the one you need to work on the least, but again a varied spread actually of all the different energies. And then I just the final poll question on this, and very interesting from my point of view to hear this. What about the influencer that you feel you could focus on today? Now there are only 10 because you can only have 10 polling questions, so the spirit I have clumped together. But if you could choose one influencer out of the 12, which would it be? If people can just give their answers, that would be awesome. About 80% of people participating. I will shut it down now. 84%, fantastic. I'll just share the results with everybody. So the highest being personal resilience and change. Might make sense under the current circumstances, maybe. And of course, what's really important about the Wheel of Wellbeing energies is that not just identifying it, which obviously is the start point, but then it's about doing something about it. And we use the Wheel of Wellbeing energies during sessions, whether they're one-to-one or in group sessions, where we can either coach out or mentor people around, well, what can you do then? Because for each of these influencers, of course, there are things individually that can work with everybody. So I'm going to stop sharing the poll results now and get back onto the session. So So when would you use it? Maybe that's some of the thoughts that are going through people's minds at the minute. It's all right having this wheel. Well, I would say self-coaching. I've used it for my own self-coaching over the last 6 months of developing it. Coaching others, it's been really, really useful in coaching others. Leadership development. So we've actually incorporated it in a few of our leadership development courses over the last 6 months. So Specsavers, Amy, and Yorkshire Ambulance Services have all used this in one form or the other. So, for example, Yorkshire Ambulance Service, I helped develop a leading health and wellbeing module for them, and we use the Wheel of Wellbeing, which has gone down tremendously well. Personal development as well, talent development, you could use it for. Even during team meetings or away days, this tool could be used. Or part of a wellbeing offer. So we offer a product called Achieving Peak Performance, which is all around wellbeing and the fact that productivity and performance can be improved through getting people's holistic health and wellbeing improved. So you can incorporate that. We also use things like heart rate monitors as part of achieving peak performance. So if anybody's got any queries about that, I can speak to people off the webinar, but that measures things like stress. It measures their activity levels, how they rest, how they sleep, etc. Or why not try our new online version? Perfect for this current climate, I would say. So it's online. You get a report with it, and one of us, could be me, could be another one of our facilitators, would do your Zoom probably, or Microsoft Teams, or whatever other brands exist out there, to deliver a short feedback session on that as well. In terms of the sort of top tips and things, we know that it's a really short webinar. It's just to give you a little bit of a taste of the project and hopefully give you a few tips. But I actually got these from the Mental Health First Aid website. I just wanted to focus on 4 of the key themes really that they would say support you during these unique times, especially people working remotely. So getting into a daily routine and actually setting up your workplace. I've seen loads of photos on social media of people's different workplaces with dogs on there, and some of them a real mess, some of them using an ironing board as a table. But actually the serious side is to really, if you can get into that daily routine, then it really will help your well-being. Try and find different ways of being active. I'm sure some of you will have done the Joe Wicks. There are other ones as well out there as well, but if you can try and be active, try and take regular breaks from your screen as well. It's really, really key to be able to do that. And actually, sometimes when you're working from home, you can look at your watch 1 minute, and then the next minute you've been sat for 3 or 4 hours at a time, which is really not great for both your physical and then obviously as an alignment into your emotional well-being as well. Stay in touch with colleagues. I'm sure people are using programs like this one, like Zoom, to try and stay in touch with each other. Group chats and things like that through Microsoft Teams and things like that are being used. But it really helped. I was talking to a leader from an organisation this morning, actually, who was saying they have 4 calls throughout the day, 1 in the morning, 2 during the day, and then 1 to check out at night. They're optional sessions, and they're really all around people's well-being, how you doing, etc. And I think they're really, really key to be able to use as well. The thing that comes out a lot, especially when we're delivering leadership programs, is we don't always tend to think about ourselves when it comes to well-being. I think that's really, really key. So if nothing else from today, try and use the wheel to think about your own well-being. It's important to think about everybody else's and the people that you lead and manage, but it actually starts with you, because it's no use if your well-being is impacted when you're trying to lead others. So I had quite a few questions, I think, sort of coming through. As I said earlier, I'm not going to be able to answer all the questions right now, but let's have let me just have a little shufty into those. So one question that I've had, and also from a few people as well, is sort of, well, how do we get hold of this? And I advise people to either contact me or contact one of my colleagues about getting access to this. We'll also offer sessions on Zoom for teams, or doing open sessions as well. Getting a few more questions through, I think now. Would it be possible to get a usable copy of the wheel so that I can do it myself? Yes, we'll be contacting everybody, and we'll be letting you know how you can get access to the Wheel of Wellbeing after this. I just want to finish the webinar now, if I can, just by saying we've got some more free webinars. Just half an hour in length over the next few weeks. We're also offering one-to-one online coaching for people. The Wheel of Wellbeing online, of course, I talked about. Client-specific online webinars and digital workshops. So we delivered to 3 or 4 clients last week, and another one this week already. So we're there. We're kind of ahead of the game, I guess, in terms of that. And mental health aware. So this is the session that is accredited by Mental Health First Aid England. I'll be issuing a couple of sessions sort of end of April, early May, where people can actually get qualified just on the half-day session of mental health aware. People, I hope, will have seen the website with the list of all the webinars. It is available on there. You just need to register like you did do for this one. It'd be really good to see people on the different webinars, and there's a whole host of different ones. So some of them are tasters of our sessions, and some of them are around personal development. So this is us. If you want to look at us, ampartnership.com. Be brilliant if you could follow us on LinkedIn. Really appreciate that. You'll get to know details of all our events and any insights. And we'd all be delighted to speak to you either by phone, or if you want to email us, that'd be absolutely brilliant too. If you don't mind, we're nearly at the end of the half an hour. If you can open up your cameras on your mobiles and scan them, be absolutely brilliant if you could just spend, it will only take a couple of minutes just to give us a little bit of feedback on this webinar. So I'll just keep that for sort of 30 seconds or so people can scan it. Hopefully it works for you. If not, I can send links if people want to complete it outside of this webinar. So I'll just give a few more seconds for people to scan the QR code. Okay, fantastic. Been really nice to deliver this webinar. I hope people enjoyed it, got something out of it, and I hope to see everybody on some other webinars over the next few weeks. Thank you.